In this episode of the Pad Bank, I talk about what has inspired me recently, the Busta and TI versus battle, sampling from different sources, and I review the submissions for the Flip It Challenge 191.
I made it. Produced. Produced. Cooked up.
Hello and welcome to the Pad Bank with me, Tony Brown, and this is episode number 10. So we're now into double figures, so we're off and running. Shout out to everyone who has been supporting so far. Big up to the YouTube community. Greatly appreciate you. And those who lock in to the premiere, feel free to drop your comments. And as we go through the episode, just feel free to engage. One thing, before I even get into this episode, there's one thing I want to address from the previous episode. So last week, I spoke about equipment collectors or equipment hoarders. And basically we're just talking about, producers who have, a whole load of equipment in their studio to the point where they've probably got more equipment than they're able to use and they're not necessarily making the best use of it. That was the premise of what I was talking about. Now, I did get a little bit of pushback from the community, which is cool. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. That was just my opinion that I was sharing. One thing I do want to clear up is I'm not saying that people shouldn't have more than one piece of equipment. Obviously, if you're going to upgrade, you may just want to hold on to that piece of equipment that you had originally. So, if you started off with an MPC 2000 and then you upgraded to, the 250 XL and then you upgraded to the 4000, I'm not saying you have to sell that one or put that one away. Yes, keep them. What I was mainly talking about and the main point I was making was that it's been noticed that some producers, they're more into collecting equipment than actually making music on it. So I just wanted to clear that up. If you've got a ton of equipment, that's cool. What I would say is just make sure you use it to the best of its ability. Now, again, someone raised a good point, and I thought, yeah, man, that's a good point. Some people may have different pieces of equipment to get a different sound. So if you've got, an SP or, and a machine or whatever it is, whatever equipment you want to use as an example, if you've got that equipment to get a specific sound, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, the main point I was making was some people are more into the collection of equipment. So, for example, the MPC Live comes out, they grab that, and then the Live 2 comes out, they grab that, and then they're talking about, I might get the one as well because that's come out. That's the point. So, just wanted to clear that up. Big up everyone who pushed back on me. I appreciate the engagement. That's what it's all about. This content is all about generating engagement for the production community. So, yeah, man, I appreciate it. Anyway, this week, like I said, I've been inspired, man. I've been inspired more than I have been for a long time. So I feel like I'm a little bit late to the party. So Griselda, I've been listening to Griselda, Dillinger, Beat Butcher, Alchemist, all that type of stuff for a while, and that really did inspire me. But all the time I was listening to that type of stuff, I was seeing and hearing the name Roc Marciano, and I kind of didn't really look into it. I didn't listen to none of his music. I didn't, he would pop up on Spotify in my recommended feed, and I kind of just ignored him. I don't know why. I just didn't look into it. And then this week, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I was doing what I was doing in the office, and I was listening to a podcast or something. And again, in the podcast, it was referencing Roc Marciano as being like the spearhead for that movement. You know what I mean? I say the Griselda movement because they're the ones who have kind of taken it mainstream. You know what I mean? They're the ones who have taken that sound and brought it to the mainstream. But Roc Marciano has been referenced as the spearhead behind it. So I finished my day at work. I've done what I was doing around the house, and I went out for a bike ride. Yeah, I tried to, because I work in an office. I'm sat down most of the day, so I try to get in a good hour's ride whenever I can. So this day I says, yeah man, I'm going out for a ride, and I says during my ride I'm plugging in my headphones and I'm just gonna put on a Roc Marciano and just put it on shuffle. And yo, from track number 1 I was like, okay, I like this. I liked just that gritty, authentic sound. You know what I mean? I was inspired. That's all I can say. I was inspired. Now, in terms of his lyrical content, it's not really my type of thing. You know what I mean? He's very much on the drug dealing, the pimping, all that kind of stuff. That's not really me. You know what I mean? But in terms of the delivery, in terms of the production, I was like, whoa. There were certain tracks I was riding, I was like, whoa. And at one point, I had to say to myself, I was riding and I was like, Tone, you slept on this guy, man. you really slept on this guy. And I also had to say to myself, there's hope. You know what I mean? For the sample-based community of producers, there's hope. You know what I mean? And what it really said to me as well is just do your thing. Just do your thing. You know what I mean? At one point, again, I was riding and I says, you know what, Tone? You ain't doing nothing wrong. I was hearing beats on one of his albums. I don't know what project it was, 'cause I just had it on shuffle and obviously I had my phone in my pocket, so I couldn't see what it was because I was riding. But at one point I heard a track and it just sounded like something I would do. And it encouraged me and it inspired me because it was like, this guy has been and is being labelled as the forerunner for this sound. He's held up as like, yeah man, this is the guy. And in listening to the track, like I said, I heard something that resembled my type of production, and I was like, Tone, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't watch nothing, just keep doing you, keep doing what you're doing. And it inspired me. I couldn't wait to get back home. You know what I mean? It's like I was midway through my ride and I was like, yo, I just want to get back home and get in the studio and just start digging for samples and start chopping, to the point where this week I've been on it, man. I've been busy. So someone asked me in the Padbank community, am I no longer doing the live streams? So previously I would do the cook-ups. You know what I mean? I would just turn on the camera, usually on a Friday or a Saturday night, turn the camera on and just do a live cook-up. You know what I mean? Just find something, chop it up and just do it live stream for like an hour, 2 hours, whatever. But for the past week or so, or even 2 weeks, I haven't done them. 2 reasons why. One of them is because I've been focused on the podcast. So this has been my focus, getting this content done. You know, I'm really kind of trying to establish a pattern with the podcast and getting some consistency. And the other reason is because I've been inspired to the point where I'm working on a project. You know what I mean? I'm looking at putting something together. So with the live streams, it's just like, just turn the camera on and just stream and just do what I'm doing. Where now I feel like I need to focus. Do you get what I'm saying? I need to kind of shut things down and just focus to get the project done. So I'm still active. I'm just not streaming the activity. And, you know, that comes from the inspiration. One other thing with regards to Roc Marciano. Again, I was listening to some of the projects. I was inspired. And it caught, when I got back home, again, you know what I mean, I was riding, my phone was in my pocket. I took out my phone and I went to Spotify and I was, you know, scrolling through. I was like, yo, who is producing these beats? You know what I mean? I'm thinking Alchemist, I'm thinking Derringer, I'm thinking Beat Butcher. And when I looked, the majority of the tracks was produced by him. I was like, nah, extra salute. You know, my man got the double salute because I wasn't expecting that. I just thought he was a rapper. I'll be honest with you, I thought he was a rapper. So to find out that he also produces his own tracks definitely gave me another level of respect for him. So if you haven't checked him out, which you probably have, I know I'm late to the party, I hold my hands up. You know what I mean? Go and check out Roc Marciano. The production, it encouraged me. It really did. Really encouraged me and inspired me. So like I said, since then, I've been at it in the studio. I've been on it, man. So wherever you can find some inspiration, go and find it. If you are looking for inspiration, go and check out some of Roc Marciano's projects. You'll definitely be inspired.
I made it. Produced, I cooked up.
So another thing that's been kicking off this week is a little conflict between Busta Rhymes and T.I. Now, if you're not aware of what's going on, basically, you know, Timbo and Swiss Beats have been doing these versus battles, which I've enjoyed. I've really enjoyed them. I like the concept. I've always liked the concept. Some of the battles have been really good. You know what I mean? I've really enjoyed them. The Jada and Fabulous one for me was I really enjoyed that one. But the best one for me was the Bounty Killer and the Beanie Man one. That was top. That was a smasher. That changed the game in terms of how they were doing the versus battles. But anyway, so recently, Busta Rhymes must have issued the challenge to T.I. and says to him, yo, I'm down to do a versus battle. Are you down? And T.I. basically declined. He was like, nah, I'm not down. And then since then, Busta's been going at him on social media. He's been going at him, man. It's been funny. He's been having him up. And it's mad because since this versus thing has started, like, different people have been conversating and having conversations on social media. Me and my wife's been talking about it. And we always spoke about, like, Busta Rhymes. Like, who would Busta go up against? Who could go up against Busta Rhymes in a versus battle? And we go around the conversation and we always end up with, it would have to be Busta Rhymes and Missy Elliott. That would be the battle. And it's the conversation's usually initiated by who could go up against Missy or who could go up against Busta. And whichever way the conversation starts, it always ends with the two of them would need to battle each other. Those are the only two people who we think would be a rightful opponent for one another. So when I heard about Busta and T.I., I was like, Busta and T.I.? Nah. I was like, that's a waste of a versus battle. I do not want to see Busta Rhymes battle T.I. Now, I don't know whether it's a generational thing. I don't know whether it's a culture thing. I don't know whether it's a geographical thing. But I can't name one T.I. record. If I heard T.I. on a track, I would recognize him. But I can't say, yeah, this is, you know, I mean, these are my top 5 T.I. tracks. I couldn't name them because I don't know them. And again, I don't know whether it's generational, whether it's geographical. You know, I mean, obviously he was from the South. I was raised more East Coast. You know what I mean? I was raised more in the East Coast golden era. Not saying I didn't listen to other music. I'd listen to whatever was hot at the time. But I can't name a T.I. track where I could list a playlist, because obviously with the verses they do 20 tracks each. I could write down my playlist for Busta. I could do that now. And like I said, it just made me think that would be a waste of a versus battle. I really believe that Busta Rhymes doesn't get the accolades that he deserves. You know what I mean? He said in one of his Insta videos where he was killing off T.I., he basically said, if I was going to battle you, I would only draw from my catalogue up to the point where you released your first single, which I believe was 2001. When I looked through the comments, it was 2001. Busta's catalogue up until then, he was saying I would just use my tracks up until then. I wouldn't even need to draw for anything in the past 2 decades. 2 decades, you know. He's saying like from the 90s up until 2001. That's what he's gonna clash him with. And I thought, oh, Busta, he's got a catalogue, man, and his name gets lost in the mix of all the other bigger name, you know, the top five, the usual top fives that people would share. His name usually gets lost. But I remember when I was, how old was I? I was probably about 16, maybe 17. I went to go and watch the Leaders of the New School live in Birmingham, and they smashed it to bits. Like, it was a great show. I'm sure Hijack was supporting them as well. UK group called Hijack, they were supporting them. And again, I was a big Hijack fan. You know what I mean? That proper British hardcore hip hop. So it was Hijack. There was someone else. I can't remember who the other group was. I think it was a local group from Birmingham. So they opened up. Then Hijack came on. Then Leeds of the New School came on. And listen, they smashed it. And that just reminded me of how long Busta Rhymes has been smashing up the place, and he's still relevant to this day. He's got an album coming out the week we're going into. I think it's the 30th of October. He's got a new project coming out. He's still relevant. He's remained relevant. You know what I mean? He is a feature king. If there's a remix, usually Busta comes on it and usually smashes it. If he features on a track, he's going to rip off your head. He's going to smash it. He's still very, very relevant, and he's been around for three decades. So yeah, a Busta and a TI versus. I'm glad it's not taking place. I'm glad that TI respectfully declined the clash, and I've just seen today that the new versus is going to be TI versus Jeezy, which, to be honest, I ain't really that interested in. I'm probably not even going to watch it. I'm not interested. But yeah, man, I want to see Busta and Missy. So in the comments, let me know, who do you think would be a solid opponent for Busta Rhymes in a versus battle? I want to hear your thoughts.
I made it. Produced, I cooked up.
Now, recently, there was a discussion taking place, and within that discussion, it was stated that if you ain't sampling from vinyl, you ain't serious about this. You're kind of cheating. You know what I mean? You're not a purist. And I couldn't agree with that. I really struggled. I understood the stance, but I was like, I can't agree, man. I can't agree. And it's come up multiple times. I mean, I've got a video on YouTube which shows someone how to set up their system to sample from YouTube, because YouTube is a good source of sampling material, whether you're sampling music, whether you're sampling and not just YouTube, but just the internet. So although the video says how to sample from YouTube, it's not about sampling from YouTube, it's about sampling from your computer, from the internet, whether that be movies, whether it be through Spotify, whether it be Netflix, whatever the source is, that's up to you. But the video just demonstrates how to set up your system to be able to sample from your computer. Yeah. And somebody left a comment and it was like, stop sampling from YouTube. Like, go and buy records, go and dig. You know what I mean? And it was it made me laugh, because I just thought, wow, you know, you really can't please people. I'm trying to help people out. Now, I would love to be in a situation where I've got my turntable, I've got my mixer, and I've got a nice big stack of vinyl, which previously I used to have. I've got a ton of beats that I've made. In the 4 years I've had this Studio Black, I've got a whole library of beats that I've made. And no one has ever said, yeah, man, yo, I like that beat, you know. It's a shame you never sampled it from vinyl, though. It would have been better. No one's ever even questioned where the sample has come from, in terms of, was it vinyl, was it YouTube, was it Spotify, where's it come from? No one's ever asked that question. They just hear it and they either like it or they don't. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I would love to have a setup with the turntable, and I'm thinking about getting a turntable, getting a mixer, and having a setup. Where I'm going to put it, I don't know. I mean, I cleaned my office today, and I've got a bit of space over there, but it wouldn't be ideal there. It'd have to be on this side. But the next challenge is then record shopping. Like where I live, there's certainly no record shops around here where I'm going to get any decent. I mean, I may be wrong. There used to be one. I'm assuming I would have got some stuff from there. But in terms of like, you know, the type of stuff I would be looking for, I'm going to have to travel far and wide to go and find that type of material. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. But to me, like I said, sampling from different sources should not be a bone of contention in the sample-based community. It shouldn't. If a producer hasn't got access to vinyl, but he's still able to source sample material and produce beats, you know what I mean? Just let them do their thing. If they're creating something that to them is heat, you know what I mean? If they're creating something that's funky, if they're creating something that's their artistic expression, allow them. It's almost like a boast. It's almost like an arrogance. Like, oh, you ain't sampling from vinyl. You ain't keeping it real. You ain't true to the culture. But to me, I can't agree with that. So leave me out of that argument. Leave me out of that discussion. Do you get what I'm saying? I will find material, sampling material. I'll find it from anywhere, whether it be one of my kids' CDs or DVDs, whether it be a movie. I mean, the other day, my son was watching some anime. He was watching it on YouTube, and I'm doing what I'm doing around the house, and I just happened to walk past the TV, and I just heard something playing, and I was just like, ping, like it just caught my attention, and you see, as soon as I heard that, I got my laptop, I found a video, I was like, what's that called? He told me the name, I found it, and I just marked it, and I sampled it, and I made a beat from it, because as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah man, that's dope, I'm sampling that. So it doesn't matter where you get it from, and it doesn't matter what source you're drawing the sample material from, as long as you do what you need to do with it. So don't let no one tell you nothing, man. Be encouraged, be inspired, do what you're doing, and let's keep it moving.
I made it. Produced, I cooked up.
So we're now into Flip It Challenge 191. 191 sample challenges under the belt. Shout out to the Padbank community. If you haven't already done so and you're interested in taking part in the Flip It Sample Challenge, just go over to thepadbank.com. If you go to community, just go to the community section, scroll down, and you'll see there's a big button that says join the community. Just hit that, and that'll bring you over to the Facebook page, and you can just apply to join the community. Once you're part of that community, you're free to take part in the weekly Flip It challenges. Now this week, so the sample is Stelivo Cipriani, and it's called Pandora Part 2. So I'm going to play a little bit of the sample. Again, because I put this out on YouTube, what I will do is I'll put a link to the sample in the description for this episode. But here's a quick snippet of what the sample was for this week. I'm not even playing too much. Hold on, let's just flick through it. Just to give you an idea of what it is. So straight away, I know that reminds me of. To get by. So that was a sample. We have 6 entries. I haven't listened to any of these yet, so let's check them out. So first up, we have Morbid Min B, and his entry is called Blam Blam. So this is a Flip It Challenge 191.
pad bang. The pad bang.
Alright, so that's Morbid Min's entry. Bro, I have to be honest. Listening to that, I don't get it. Like I can hear the pattern of the drums, but in terms of the sample, it just sounds randomized. It sounds like the sample's doing one thing and the drum pattern, the beat's doing another thing. I would say spend a little bit more time with the chops and getting a melody, getting something that is catchy. To get what I'm saying, just spend time with that, man. So that's my feedback on that one. Next up, we have my man Andrea Peroni, and I know I got your name right this week. Yeah, this is his submission, and this is Kind of Blue, and this is his entry for the Flip It Challenge 191.
The pad bang. The pad bang. The pad bang.
Alright, so that's Andrea Peroni's entry. Better than the first one, I will say that. It's got a little bit of more of a melody to it. I don't like the part where it breaks the pattern. Hold on, that part there. Again, as I said the other week, yes, break the rules, but don't break the rhythm. But yeah, I appreciate the entry, man. It could definitely benefit from a little bit more time, getting the structure right, getting the arrangement tight, just spending a little bit more time, get it sounding like music rather than just a series of chops on pads being hit. All right, next up is Play Loud, and his entry is called Happy Go Lucky. Here we go.
The pad bang.
So that's Play Loud, Happy Go Lucky. That's his entry to the Flip It Challenge 191. Big up yourself, Play Loud. It's a nice entry. It reminds me of early 90s hip hop. Definitely. You know, it reminded me of just that little swing. I don't know if you remember the Youngsters. I don't know why, but it reminded me of something. It just reminded me of the Youngsters. I don't know why.
The pad bang.
But yeah, big up yourself. Bit more of a melody to it, bit more of a rhythm to it. So man, I appreciate the entry. What do you think? Again, in the comments, let me know. So next up we have Beats by Beats, and this is his entry. Let's go. So that's Beat by Beats, Beats by Beats. That's his entry. What do you think? So far, for me, best entry so far. Moving on, we're now up to entry number 5. Next up is my man Quadrigen, who I believe was last week's Flip It champ. So this is his entry, and it's called Pandora. This is Quadrigen.
The pad bang. The pad bang. The pad bang. The pad bang.
Alright, so that's Quadrigen. So if you remember last week, like I said, Quadrigen, he won last week, and he had the long intro. Now, just for consistency and for fairness, I'm playing just about a minute and a half of every track. So just a heads up, if you are going to have a long intro, keep that in mind. I'm only playing a minute and a half of each track on the podcast. But yeah, definitely nice and clean. Nice clean drums. It's a little bit quiet. I would say, again, although I just spoke about the mix and not focusing on the mix, you could do with pushing it up a little bit, man, because compared to the rest of them, that has been the quietest one so far. So I don't know how you're exporting it, but definitely need to push that up a little bit. But yeah, nice, cool, mellow. I could see myself at work with my headphones on, just rocking to this. Easy listening. Nothing too hard, nothing too aggressive. Just rolling in the background. So big up yourself, Quadrogen. Appreciate your entry. Alright, so last but certainly not least is my man Flavormatic. Big up yourself, Flavormatic. And this is his entry. It's called Tomorrow. So let's get into it.
The pad bank. The pad bank.
Alright, so that's my man Flavormatic. I like this. Got an 808 going there. Yeah man, I like this. Again, I could definitely see myself listening to this again whilst at work. Just got it rolling in the background. So that's the final entry. So we only had 6 entries this week. I've just checked on the group, and this week's winner was actually Quadrogen. So big up yourself, Quadrogen, on another week being victorious for another week. So you're basically holding the belt, or you're holding the title. So big up yourself. You're the reigning champion. You won last week. You won again this week. So big up yourself. Let's just get that rolling in the background. So this is the winning beat from Quadrogen. Personally, I would have voted for Flavormatic. I don't think I voted this week. Again, I've just been busy, just been consumed with other things. But my vote would have gone to Flavormatic. But big up yourself, everyone who has entered. And congratulations to Quadrogen on retaining the title. Again, nice clean beat anyway. Valid winner. So, that's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, as always, if you've been listening to these submissions for the Flip It Challenge and you think or you believe you can do better, you're sitting there listening, nah man, I could do better than that. I would have flipped that sample like this. I would have took it this way or that way. Then put your money where your big talk is. Come over to the community. So just go to thepadbank.com and click on the community tab. Join the community and get involved, man. Let's hear what you got. Again, it's all about inspiring the community and the culture of sample-based production. We're very much keeping it alive. So come on over. And again, if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you listen to it on. So if you're mainly in YouTube, then make sure you subscribe to the page or the channel. And again, I would appreciate it if you would take a moment to go over and leave us a rating, a review on your podcast streaming platform of choice. It all adds up. So yeah, man, episode 10. We're now into double figures. I'm very grateful for all your attention so far. And we're going to keep these episodes coming. We have got some interviews lined up. We're just getting the date scheduled, so I'm looking forward to that. But I'll continue to bang out these episodes until then. So yeah, man, big up yourself, Padbank family. I will see you again in another episode. All the best, God bless, and take care.
I made it. Produced, I cooked up.